Why are we attracted to certain people? Is it because they're good looking, wealthy, high status? These qualities can certainly be appealing, but they're not the core reason. Haven't you noticed how some attractive men and women lose all their charm the moment they start talking? Or how many rich and powerful people are only surrounded by fake smiles and shallow relationships? Have you ever noticed that truly charismatic people often carry a certain don't mess with me vibe? They're not necessarily aggressive or flashy, but you still wouldn't dare cross them. Maybe you've tried it yourself. When you intentionally mimic so-called high emotional intelligence behaviors, not only does it feel exhausting, but others can tell it's not genuine. Some might even think you're being overly flattering or fake. That's because true charm is never an act. It radiates from the inside out, from a steady and powerful inner core that naturally gives off its own energy. The harder you try to grasp it, the more it slips away. The more you seek it externally, the less you'll find it. So today, I'm going to share with you 10 fundamental mindsets that can completely transform the way you've understood things until now. These 10 mindsets aren't about techniques, they're about the core essence. They'll help you rebuild your inner foundation from the ground up, so you no longer need to seek approval or pretend to be someone you're not. Instead, you'll naturally exude a kind of irresistible charm. I promise, trying these approaches might feel a bit uncomfortable at first, but they truly work. And at the end, I'll reveal the ultimate secret to charisma, a core principle that ties everything together and will serve you for a lifetime. Please, make sure you stick with it until the end. Alright, to answer the question posed at the beginning of the video, the fundamental reason why some people attract others is that charismatic individuals offer us a rare sense of value. This value might come in the form of emotional support, intellectual stimulation, or a sense of security. Being around them makes you feel uplifted, not drained. And what we're going to do today is help you become one of those charismatic people. The first and most important step in becoming more charismatic is to turn inward and build an unshakable inner core. I call this a sense of stability rooted in the mindset of "it has nothing to do with me." What does that mean? It means that external opinions, other people's emotions, and the success or failure of events are not connected to your self-worth. You might think this sounds counterintuitive. How can anyone not care about what others think? Keep in mind, not connected doesn't mean becoming cold, indifferent, or unresponsive to the world around you. It means having a clear understanding deep within. Your value is defined by you and remains constant. For example, when someone compliments you, you thank them politely, but you know in your heart that the compliment didn't increase your worth. You were already enough. When someone criticizes, misunderstands, or even attacks you, you reflect on whether there's anything valuable in their words. But deep down, you also know that the criticism didn't diminish your worth. Your core value remains completely intact. Most of our pain and lack of charisma come from giving away the power to define ourselves to the outside world. A single compliment can lift our spirits for an entire day, while a single eye roll can leave us emotionally drained for days. We're like duckweed floating on the ocean, drifting with the tide, lacking direction and control. When a person's emotions and self-worth are entirely dictated by others and their surroundings, how can they possibly radiate any real charisma? When you truly develop that inner sense of "this has nothing to do with me," you begin to radiate a calm and effortless ease. You no longer rely on external approval to validate your worth. That deep sense of assurance and confidence is, in itself, the highest form of charisma. 2. You don't have to be a perfect person to live a full and vibrant life. From a young age, our society teaches us to be a good person. Be kind, be generous, be tolerant, be positive. But few people tell us that the so-called negative traits we suppress, deny, and hide, like anger, jealousy, selfishness, and vulnerability, are also part of our life force. The renowned psychologist Carl Jung introduced a concept called the shadow self. He believed that the more we repress and deny the dark side within us, the more it will control our lives from behind the scenes in ways we can't manage. A nice person who never dares to express anger might one day explode over something trivial and end up destroying an important relationship. Someone who never acknowledges their jealousy might subconsciously attack those who are better than them by holding them to impossibly high moral standards. Why does embracing the dark side enhance one's charisma? Because being whole is more attractive than being perfect. A person who only shows light without any shadow isn't authentic. They're flat, like a sheet of paper. But someone who dares to acknowledge and integrate their dark side is multidimensional, rich, and full of tension. Their life gains both depth and breadth because of it. Consider those iconic characters from film and television. Vito Corleone in The Godfather. He's cold and ruthless, yet also deeply loving and responsible when it comes to his family. It's this interplay of light and darkness that gives him a powerful, magnetic charm. We may not condone his actions, but we're captivated by the complexity that makes him a whole person. When you stop trying to eliminate your dark side and instead learn to understand it and dance with it, you transform the energy that once secretly drained you into a driving force that fuels your life. You become more authentic, more powerful, and as a result, more magnetic. 3. Learn the art of kind indifference to create attraction. Have you ever had this experience? The more you give to someone, always being there, showing constant care, the less they seem to appreciate you. The more you try to get close, the more they pull away. This is a harsh truth about human nature. What comes too easily is often taken for granted. Kind indifference doesn't mean becoming a cold or distant person who ignores everyone at its core. It means pulling back your excessive need to please and accommodate others, and instead creating a vacuum in relationships that draws people toward you. This is driven by the principle of scarcity. Air is everywhere, so we rarely notice its value. But on a high plateau or underwater, every breath becomes incredibly precious. Your time, your energy, and your emotional presence are the air in your relationships. If you make them cheap and endlessly available, they naturally lose their value. A truly attractive person is never like a central air conditioner nice guy or a sticky note kind of girl. They have their own priorities and their own world. They will show you care and kindness, but it comes with boundaries. They won't abandon their principles or disrupt their rhythm for anyone. This close yet distant attitude can actually ignite the other person's curiosity and desire to pursue you. They begin to wonder, why doesn't he seem that invested in me? Am I not doing enough? What can I do to become a part of his world? This kind detachment is, at its core, a deep form of self-love. When you put yourself first, the world will, in turn, respect you. 4. Create an information gap and become a book worth exploring. Imagine this. You've just met someone, and within 10 minutes, they've poured out everything. Their financial situation, relationship history, work frustrations, and future plans. Like spilling beans from a bamboo tube. How would you feel? On the surface, you might say you're so honest, but deep down, your curiosity about this person would plummet. They become like a novel written in plain language, completely transparent and utterly uninteresting. Charm, to a large extent, stems from a sense of mystery. And at the heart of mystery lies an information gap. A charming person is like an iceberg. You only ever see the 1/8 above the surface, while the 7/8 hidden below are full of unknowns and possibilities, sparking your imagination and drawing you in to explore. Creating an information gap doesn't mean pretending to be profound or spinning lies. It means learning how to reveal yourself gradually and with intention. You are a rich and complex treasure. Don't hand over the entire map the first time you meet someone. Remember, your life and your thoughts are your most valuable assets. Don't reveal them all too easily or cheaply. Learn to share like squeezing toothpaste bit by bit, so others become hooked on you the way they would on a gripping TV series. 5. Offer the rarest sense of security by seeing others without judgment. In a time when everyone is eager to speak and quick to judge, simply listening has become a rare virtue. And one level above listening is the ability to look at someone with a non-judgmental gaze. What does that mean? It means that when someone stands before you, whether they're showing their brightest side or revealing their most vulnerable, flawed, or even socially unconventional side, your eyes, your subtle expressions, your entire presence all convey one message. I see you. I hear you. I allow you to be this way. I am here, and I will not judge you. This is an incredibly powerful force. Think about it. How much judgment have we experienced since childhood? Judgment from parents, teachers, coworkers, partners, and even from ourselves. Deep down, each of us longs for a space where we can shed all pretense and defenses and simply be ourselves in safety and peace. When you are able to provide such a safe container, you become a mental harbor for others. People are naturally drawn to you and feel comfortable opening their hearts because in your presence, they experience the most precious gift, being fully accepted. In psychological counseling, this is known as unconditional positive regard. A skilled counselor uses this non-judgmental attitude to help clients build trust and begin the process of self-healing. When you are able to offer a non-judgmental gaze, you'll find that you don't need to say much to draw people in. They are drawn to you because you provide one of the rarest things in the world, a space where their soul can truly rest. Point 6. Use high-value vulnerability to build the strongest trust. Many people misunderstand vulnerability, thinking it means weakness, complaining, or seeking sympathy. This is what's known as low-value vulnerability. It only makes others feel that you're full of negative energy and want to stay away from you. What we're talking about today is high-value vulnerability. It's defined as selectively and appropriately sharing with specific people a challenge you've already overcome or a harmless flaw in order to show sincerity, courage, and humanity, and to build a deep connection. Pay attention to a few key points here. Selectively and appropriately. It's not about opening up to just anyone. Specific people. Only share with those you want to build a deep relationship with. Challenges you've already overcome. The key is already overcome. What you're sharing isn't a bleeding wound, but a scar that has already healed. Why does this enhance your charm? Social psychologist Elliot Aronson proposed the pratfall effect. A highly competent person who makes a small, harmless mistake can actually seem more likable and relatable, thereby increasing their interpersonal appeal. A flawless person can create a sense of distance and pressure. But revealing a bit of vulnerability is like opening a small window in a strong fortress. That window lets others see the warmth and humanity inside your castle, making them feel safe enough to approach and trust you. The formula for high-value vulnerability is past difficulties plus my struggles at the time plus my reflections and growth. For example, during a team sharing session, when everyone is talking about their success stories, you could say, "When I first started in the industry, I was actually really insecure. Before my first client pitch, I was so nervous that I couldn't sleep the night before. When I got up to present, my legs were shaking, and I could barely hold the clicker steady." Sure enough, that pitch ended in failure. I was crushed and even started to question whether I was cut out for this line of work. This represents the past difficulty and struggle. But later, when I reflected on it, I realized the real reason for the failure wasn't just my nerves. It was that I didn't fully understand the proposal and hadn't truly looked at the problem from the client's perspective. Since then, I've made it a point to ask myself 3 questions before working on any proposal. What core problem does this proposal solve for the client? What is the client's biggest concern? What is my one-sentence value proposition? This is about reflection and growth. You see, sharing something like this doesn't make you look weak. It highlights your honesty, your ability to reflect, and your willingness to grow. It earns your colleagues' respect and trust far more than any "I'm so great" brag ever could. Remember, vulnerability isn't a weapon, it's a bridge. It's not a tool for seeking sympathy, but a way to build a deep connection with another genuine soul. That a warrior who dares to show their scars is far more trustworthy and worth following than a deity who has never been wounded. 7. Create irreplaceable memories. Let's try a thought experiment. 10 years from now, when you look back on the important people in your life, what will you remember? Chances are it won't be a specific thing they said or a particular outfit they wore, but rather the feeling or experience they gave you. It's the sense of peace and wonder you felt watching the sunrise on the beach with a friend. It's the time a teacher, seeing your confusion, took you to a small cafe and sketched out a logic diagram for you. It's the imperfect dinner your partner lovingly cooked for your birthday. These are all experiences. A charismatic person is often a giver of experiences. They aren't satisfied with communication that stays merely on the surface of words. Instead, they excel at creating unique and unforgettable moments and scenes. Why is this important? Because humans are emotional beings, and what we truly remember is emotion. Material things lose value and money gets spent, but a profound and beautiful experience becomes an emotional anchor in someone's memory, permanently stored in their mind. Every time they revisit that moment, they relive the same beautiful emotion. And that emotion is deeply and inseparably linked to you. You become that irreplaceable person in his life. Treat every interaction with others like you're directing a short film. What you're creating isn't a fabricated plot, but a genuine, emotionally resonant experience. When you consistently provide others with meaningful and unique experiences, you no longer need to go out of your way to maintain relationships. People will naturally want to step into your film and become part of your story. 8. Develop a personal philosophy and embody intellectual allure. Physical attractiveness has a shelf life, but intellectual charm deepens and matures over time. The most refined form of charisma is having a well-formed, independent personal philosophy. What is a personal philosophy? It is a coherent, systematic, and deeply considered worldview and methodology that you develop about the world, life, love, work, success, and failure. It's not a collection of quotes you've heard from others or copied from books, but something you've slowly distilled through your own experiences, reading, and reflection. What's the difference between someone who has a personal philosophy and someone who doesn't? When faced with choices, those without a philosophy often feel torn, lost, and dependent on others' advice. Those with a philosophy quickly return to their core principles and make clear and confident decisions. When facing adversity, those without a philosophy tend to complain, break down, and feel as if the world is conspiring against them. Those with a philosophy, on the other hand, view adversity as raw material to test and refine their philosophical framework, approaching challenges with the mindset of a gamer. When engaging with others, those without a philosophy have scattered, drifting opinions that are easily swayed. But those with a philosophy express each viewpoint like the branches and leaves of a mighty tree, deeply rooted in a solid trunk of thought, well-reasoned and full of conviction. This kind of intellectual allure is irresistible. It sends a clear signal to the world. This is someone with a core, someone with intellectual weight. When you communicate with him, what you gain isn't just fragmented bits of information, but a complete perspective on how to see the world. This can significantly expand the boundaries of your understanding. As the philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein once said, "The limits of my language mean the limits of my world." As you continue to broaden the horizons of your thinking by developing your own personal philosophy, your world, and the charisma you project to others will grow without limit. 9. Master your energy field. To command presence without saying a word. Even before we speak, our energy field has already exchanged information with the other person countless times. The term energy field might sound a bit mystical, but we can think of it as the overall state you project to the outside world through nonverbal cues. This includes your posture, your breathing, your gaze, and the degree of tension or relaxation in your muscles. The polyvagal theory in psychology tells us that the human nervous system subconsciously and continuously scans the environment and other signals to determine whether a situation feels safe or dangerous. A person with a stable and powerful energy field breathes deeply and steadily, holds an open and grounded posture, and maintains a calm yet focused gaze. Their nervous system is sending out signals of safety to the world around them. When you're near such a person, you naturally begin to relax, feeling a sense of calm and trust that a person with a chaotic and weak energy field tends to breathe rapidly and shallowly, with a hunched, tense posture and a darting, unfocused gaze. Their nervous system is sending signals to the outside world that suggest danger or uncertainty. When you're near them, you may unconsciously feel uneasy and instinctively want to keep your distance. This kind of influence operates on a subconscious level. It's a form of nonverbal pressure, Consider truly influential figures, like national leaders at major international conferences. Even when they sit in silence, you can sense a calm, mountain-like presence in their posture or the way they drink water. That is the power of an energy field. Train your gaze. Your eyes are the windows to your soul and the most focused outlet of your energy. Stop looking at others with evasive or wandering eyes. Practice steady gazing. You can start by gazing at yourself in the mirror at home or at the flame of a lit candle. Train your gaze to be both gentle and penetrating. Gentleness conveys kindness and acceptance. Penetration conveys strength and confidence. Your body is the temple of your soul and the transmitter of your energy. When you align your energy field to a high-frequency, stable state through your breath, posture, and gaze, you can earn others' respect and goodwill without saying a single word. 10. Understand the art of a graceful exit to leave a lasting impression. All good things must come to an end. A conversation, a gathering, a relationship. Everything eventually reaches its conclusion. A person's true charm is not revealed in how impressively they make an entrance, but in how gracefully they make their exit. The essence of a graceful exit lies in a strong sense of self-respect and a clear awareness of others' boundaries. Many people falter at the end. A pleasant conversation is dragged on until there's nothing left to say, creating awkward silence and ruining the once enjoyable atmosphere. At a lively party, they're always the last to leave, lingering as the room empties and the mess piles up, awkward and a little pathetic that a relationship that has already come to an end. Yet he clings to it desperately, begging and pleading, draining away every last bit of dignity. Why do we do this? Because deep down we fear loss, and we fear the emptiness that comes with the end. But a truly charismatic person understands the wisdom of leaving at the peak. Like a brilliant movie that ends abruptly at its most gripping moment, leaving the audience with endless reflection and imagination. If it insists on dragging on for another half hour, spelling out every character's ending in detail, its artistic charm would vanish. Remember the famous quote by Ernest Hemingway, "We spend 2 years learning to speak and the rest of our lives learning to shut up." Similarly, we also need to spend a long time learning how to turn away gracefully, how to end beautifully. When you've mastered the art of taking your final bow at the height of applause, what you leave behind will always be the most captivating silhouette. Alright, let's recap. From building an inner core of "this is nothing to do with me" to embracing your shadow side. From practicing kind indifference to creating information asymmetry. From observing without judgment to embracing high-value vulnerability. From becoming a giver of experiences and forming your personal philosophy. To mastering your energy field, and finally, to the art of exiting with grace. Together, we've learned these 10 profound inner wisdoms. You'll find that everything we've explored today points to a single core truth, the one I promised to reveal at the end. The ultimate secret of charisma. The secret is this: stop trying to be a charming person and focus on becoming a real person. Yes, you heard that right. The more you pursue charm as a goal, the more you fall into the trap of performance and pretense, and the further you move away from genuine charm. True charm is never something you can gain by learning a set of techniques. It's not an outfit you can simply put on. It is the light that naturally radiates from you when you fully, fearlessly, and wholeheartedly become your true self. It is the fragrance that flows outward when your inner world is full, aligned, and at peace. So please forget all the techniques I taught you today. Don't treat them as a checklist of tasks to be deliberately completed. Think of them as a map that guides you back to yourself, helps you rediscover who you are, and empowers you to live as your authentic self. This path is not easy. It takes immense courage to face the parts of yourself you'd rather avoid, to break free from old patterns of thought, and to take full responsibility for your life. But without a doubt, it will be the most worthwhile adventure of your lifetime. To close today's sharing, I want to leave you with a line of poetry by Khalil Gibran as a gift of strength. Do not forget that the reason we embarked on the journey was not to go far, but to remember why we started. We set out not to appear more appealing in the eyes of others. We set out on this journey to live more openly, more freely, and more authentically. And when you truly do, you'll be amazed to discover that the whole world has already been captivated by you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. May you shine brightly on your journey to becoming your true self. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.